Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about House of the Dragon Season 3 and really just the whole show in general. The reason I want to talk about this is because we are coming now to the end of Season 3, and I still feel like the show is not getting a bit of a hurry on. Now, as for someone who actually does know about the lore, and I have read the two books, and of course, watching the main show spoiled the ending of this. There's a lot in the books that still need to happen. There's a lot in general that still needs to happen, and yet we just haven't really got to it. George R.R. Martin said in an interview a little while ago that he wanted at least 4 seasons at 10 episodes each, at a good hour long each episode, to really capture the whole Dance of Dragons. We are just not going to get that. I just refuse to believe that they can wrap this whole show up in 4 seasons. I would say to do it at the pace it's going now, and maybe a slightly shift a bit more quicker in the next season, I'd say about 6 seasons would be perfect at 8 episodes each if they continue going that route. What I, in a way, hope they do, because I'm kind of used to having the 8 episodes now. I don't really like the idea that every season will have 1, 2, or 3 major events. I kind of like the idea of it just being random. Like, one episode, you may have a lot of build up, and then the next episode, nothing really happens. And then all of a sudden, like, 3 people die. In the most recent episode of season 3, Sir Criston Cole does die. I'm actually really happy with his death. In the book, it's kind of implied that he was hacked to death by the Winter Wolves. He wasn't. He dies, to be honest, in a way that I actually think is quite good, considering that in a lot of fantasy shows, when you have people getting shot by arrows, it's all like very like slow motion, and they're taking an arrow to the chest and they just keep fighting. Kind of, very Boromir from the Lord of the Rings. But he just dies. Like, he just gets, I think it was like, same thing, like, it was a shock. Like, no one is expecting to just have this puncher of all your air in your lungs and your body just go flying out because you've just been impaled. No one really expects that, and I'm really glad that he didn't. And I kind of like the idea that he took one in the lower gut, what he probably could have survived from, and then he took another one, and he's like, okay, but then he took one in the head, and it was like, okay, yeah, now he's down for the count. And I thought that was good. I still think it was a little overkill having like at least 2,000, maybe even more men just just coming down on like 10 dudes. Like, I just think that was like a bit really, really overkill in the show. They really didn't need to do that. They could have probably had like maybe like 200 men, and they could have easily done it. Like, not even like, you could probably even have like 50. And they could have easily beat them. I did like the idea, though, that they kind of set up like a trap where they kind of grabbed a bunch of dead bodies of people, probably from other conflicts, and then just hid amongst the bodies and waited for them to come along. I really did like that. And I also really liked the idea that Sir Criston Cole was taking on the idea of just trying to slow down the advance of the enemies. And I love that, because when Napoleon invaded Russia, a lot of the time he didn't get to fight them properly. The Russians hired people from like Siberia and all over their empire, but they hired people who just basically just did hit and run tactics, where their whole job was just to shoot once or twice and then run off into the trees. That was it. And then when they ran into the trees and the French cavalry tried to chase them down, obviously it was very tree-like, and they just got wiped out. So this reminded me a lot of that. But on this occasion, Sir Criston Cole was on foot, so he was trying to catch up with them to hurt them, but also they started playing dirty by burning bridges behind them. So it's like they couldn't really follow. And yeah, it was just like a terrible event. I am at the point, though, with the show I don't really know how it's going to end, because as of right now, Rhaenyra is having problems at home, but they're very petty problems. she still has major armies. Realistically, for her, she's just waiting for either the Riverland armies to arrive in King's Landing, or she's just waiting for the North. Because if the North do end up coming down, and they will, spoiler alert, they are. When they do, it's over. That's really the end game. It's because when you have an army of 20,000 men coming down from the North, and then you've also got the 40,000 Riverland army in the middle. The only thing, though, is what annoying me is with her, she's dealing with a lot of King's Landing stuff. And I think it's supposed to be a distraction for her. Like, she's trying to roar and she can't. If I was her, I would have said, right, told my hand, right, you stay here, try to sort out King's Landing. I'm going back to Dragonstone to command the army. That's what I think she should do to clear her head and get out of that kind of theatre. Of course, she would leave like a dragon or two at King's Landing anyway, just for protection, but most of the time she should be at Dragonstone directing the war. Because people are fighting for her, so if she dies, then the whole reason to fight is over. And spoiler alert, she does die, and we need to see that. We need to see her die this season. If for my perfect ending of this season would be Rhaenyra being killed and Aegon being taken back to King's Landing to continue being king. Now that Corlys Velaryon has been captured, I'm assuming that he will meet up with Aegon and then he'll become Hand of the King, as he does in the books as well. And hopefully the Baratheons get involved as well, because same thing with Aegon is his forces are scattered. His main Lannister army was completely wiped out, and at the moment he's waiting for Highgarden to declare for him. He's also waiting for Boris Baratheon to get involved, because the moment he gets involved, it will be over. Like, any pretenders within King's Landing, or really just anywhere south, like, this is going to be over for them, because the Baratheons have such a large army, and so far they haven't actually done anything apart from fighting a Dornish pirate. He's called the Vulture King. I think he was just like a side character, just a guy who's causing mayhem. With Corlys Velaryon wiping out the Triarchy, what was really cool, by the way, because that wasn't actually in the books, like, with the Triarchy, it was just a sea battle, but I really like the idea that the pirates went ashore and just started raiding. Like, that is just, of course they would. Like, if your ship's being taken on water, or you're just damaged, or you just see it's a losing battle, just go to shore. Just try and take as many goods as you can, because you can always try to make your way back. And since you know that the place is in chaos anyway, like, you could easily probably try to sneak past to Dawn. And knowing Dawn, they probably wouldn't, let you in with open arms, but they probably would allow you to pass through, because Dawn is one of those kingdoms that they tolerate you, but they don't actively help you, and they don't actively fight against you, and that's kind of how they survive. And in the books, Dawn doesn't really have a big army. They have a very liberal society where they just kind of spend their days fighting, drinking, and kind of just doing their own thing, really. That's pretty much all they do. So it's kind of like one of those kingdoms that they just exist. The problem with the Dawn, there's nothing down there. It's like the deserts. It's just desert. Like, there's nothing there. So yeah, it would be nice to say, hey, Dawn is in the kingdoms, but yeah, and I think in the books they can only pull together about 16,000 men, what is tiny. For example, the Freys in the books, when Robb Stark went to the Freys, Lord of Frey, who basically just had a bridge, yeah, he can muster 15,000 men. Like, that is incredible for what he's doing. So, the Freys have more men, and that's actually how the Red Wedding kind of got them, is because he had so many. He had just had a very large army for such a small area, and of course the Bolton men as well. So if you said that Roose Bolton had 4,000 men to Robb Stark's cause, with the Freys, you're thinking 19,000 men, and by that point in the war, Rob probably only had about 12,000 men, like, who weren't, oh, not even that really, because like the Karstarks left by that point. So yeah, it was good. Like for me, like Dawn just doesn't have a big part. Overall, though, I'm really liking the lore. I'm really liking the show. I think it's good. It just needs to get a hurry on, and I think 6 seasons would be the absolute sweet spot for this show to end on. So I really hope that happens. I know we're getting a season 4, but I just don't think season 4 is going to be it. It's just, if they do end it at season 4, it's just not going to be satisfying. They're going to have to rush so much. Like I just said, I really would like at the end of this season that Rhaenyra does get killed and Aegon takes his place back on the throne. That would be the perfect ending for season 3. Probably not going to see it. It will probably be sometime in season 4 we'll see that. But that is just reality. And really 5 and really season 6 really should just be from the north, from the Starks view, where they're just going through Westeros, just cleaning up, because that's basically what they do in the books. Rhaenyra's strongest ally, it just took them too long to get there, and they need to go through, and of course everyone else dealing with the fallout of that. But I would like to see, really, probably season 5 and 6 should be just that. So, but hopefully we can see it. Hopefully we can get there. I'm really hoping for 6 seasons. And yeah, so overall, I'm really happy with it. A few minor gripes, but I really like the lore. I really like everything. So for me, I'm probably going to say for the show right now, I'm very satisfied. I'm probably going to go a good, solid 7 out of 10 for me. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.